This Torah class is brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.
Okay, good morning everyone. Shalom Aleichem, Bruchim Abam. We're continuing in Mishna Berura, Daf Hashavua, Hilchos Tefillin, Siman Lamed Ches, Seif Tes. Mitztaer, someone who's distressed. Umishein datam yushavas alav, someone who doesn't have settled mind. Unechaina, and established and proper. Pater, he is exempt. It is prohibited to divert your mind from tefillin. Mitztaer, says Mishna Berura, afilu mibnei hatzina. Even if he's cold, he goes into the shul and they set the air conditioner for 32. So it's 90 degrees outside and it's 34 degrees inside. He's mitztaer. V'ayin b'samach. Look in the next sif katan. She'ein daita. Yamari b'shi evshal yashav date. It's talking about where you cannot settle your mind. Avalami evshalai. But if it's impossible, chayiv liyashav date l'anichan. You're chayiv to settle your mind and to put them on. So here's the question: what if something's on your mind, something's bothering you? So you're patur from tefillin? Are you allowed to put on tefillin in that situation? Did we have earlier that choyle me'ayin is not only patur, he's not allowed to. And they're also lahachmer. But we do have in the Ramah says in Siman Lamed Chesef Aleph, Avoshar choyle im mitztar b'choyoy bein dat mishav salah pater. The Mishna Berura says Shema mitachatzar yaser daite mehem. But v'im roitzel lahachmer atzin rashai. You're allowed to be machmer. But what does that mean? You're allowed to be machmer and wear the tefillin even though the person is sick and he might be distracted. But what if something's bothering you and you will be distracted? Then you're not to wear tefillin? That's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're not.
Then the Mishna Berura refers to this seat at the end of Siman says Zion. If he starts to cry, if he has bad news, he will take them off.
Okay, I agree. If you start to cry, you should take them off. But what if you're not crying? You're just vertracht with the situation. You're there, your body is there, but your mind is not there. Like Sam Seif writes, Vayikach Korach. Vayikach Korach. Rashi says, Lakcham bidvarim. Because what does it mean to take a person? If you tie a person up and you put them somewhere, you took them. The only way to take someone is to take their mind, so to persuade them. So if your mind is not there, in other words, something's on your mind, something's bothering you, should you not wear tefillin? Do you see anyone who says you're allowed to?
People who have patrach the whole davening anyway, even if it's not something. They don't think about the tefillin at all, even if there's nothing pressing. Is that any different?
Okay, they're not, okay, in that case, they're not thinking about the tefillin, but they're davening. And what are they thinking about? Many people, the whole davening, they're thinking about whatever is on their mind. But what if a guy is mamish, he's you could tell there's something troubling him.
Yeah, but the Gemara in Sukkah talks about by Avelis and not wearing tefillin. Then what happens if you see your ship drowning, sinking in the sea? The Gemara says you have to do what you're supposed to do and keep your mind not on your business, but on the davening and the tefillin.
Right. But let's say the guy knows he's not going to. So should he not put on tefillin? Okay. We have to think about that. Sif Yud. HaKorei b'Torah. One who's reading the Torah, pater menachas tefillin kol hayom. He's exempt from putting on tefillin the whole day. Zulas b'shas kriya shema tefillah. This is amazing halacha. Someone who is reading Torah, he's exempt from wearing tefillin the entire day except for Shema and Shemoneh Esrei. Says in Mishna Berura, Ba'Torah, Efshar the dafka b'Torah shebachsav. It could be dafka when you're saying Torah shebachsav. Loy ba'oisik b'Gemara. The Torah yesh lamer shi atzma ois. The reason why Torah your pater is because Torah itself is an ois. Why? Shenizkar ba yitzias Mitzrayim. So what does it mean you're pater? Pater means means you don't have to interrupt your learning to put on the tefillin. It means in middle of learning, you don't interrupt to put them on. But before you learn, you are chayiv in the tefillin. Also in the middle, if you want to interrupt your learning and put on the tefillin, you're allowed to. We don't say, well, in the middle of learning, I can't interrupt to put on tefillin. You're allowed to v'yachal avarich aleim shafal pisha pater milahavsik b'shvilan. Even though I'm exempt, so you say, if I'm exempt, I can't make a bracha if I'm putting it on. How can you make a bracha on something you're pater on? No, even though you're pater from interrupting the kamakam kivan sharoitza lahavsik milimudai, since you want to interrupt, harichai b'tefillin miyad shemavsik. You're right. While you were learning, you were pater, but the moment you stop, now you're chayiv. So you say, well, I'm middle of learning. Should I stop? If I'm middle of learning, I'm pater. Well, you that thought already obligated you, because that thought you already stopped learning. Once you stop learning, now you're chayiv. It's interesting that the reason given in the Mishna Berura, why if somebody's learning their pater from tefillin, is because learning is an ice. If I'm not mistaken, I once saw another svara. Since the whole tachlis of wearing tefillin is l'man tia Torah Hashem b'ficha, the whole purpose of wearing tefillin is in order to learn. So if you're learning, then why should you put on tefillin? The whole reason I'm putting on tefillin is in order to learn. So I'm already doing it. I'm already learning. So what do I need the tefillin for? But that's not what the Mishna Berura says. Mishna Berura says the reason why if you're learning pater from tefillin is because Torah itself is an ice.
It's the Yerushalmi, what you said.
What I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I went so in the smag. Okay. Mehanochas tefillin. V'af agav shemechuyev lahavsik mitam takidakam kol mitzvah shechiyuvan alav. Oh, kidei to be ardeh soon reish mem. You're mechuyev to interrupt Torah to mekayim all mitzvahs. So I would have said, well, Mishna Berura already answered this question. This is different because you already have an ice. No, but then he says, he brings in what I just said, Shani mitzvahs tefillin, sheker tayalta hula Torah, kedach sivul zikar meinach laman tiyatas mishvicha, al ken mekiman shekvar oisek b'tam rekodem tzach levato Torah b'shvil zeh. This is a different svara than he said before. Before he said, if you're wearing tefillin, you're pater, because it's an ice. Just like on Shabbos, you don't wear a tefillin. So when you're learning, you don't wear tefillin. I would have answered this question. What do you mean? You're mechuyel hasig mitam tarkatayim kol mitzvahs. Yeah, but there's a special reason why not to do tefillin, because it's an ice. Anyway, al kein mikivan shekvar osek b'Torah mikodim tzach levatel Torah b'shul zeh. Zulaf l'shakriya shema u'tfila k'dei lekabelav omach hashemayim. V'gam she'oz adayin ein osek b'Torah. And also then, you're not yet engaged in Torah. I don't understand that. Who says? You have to have the tefillin on. What do you mean? What if I started learning from before? The Gra says you can only use Torah as an exemption to not wear tefillin if Torah is your career. But us, we have to interrupt even for tefillin. So that's an interesting question. The Mishna Berura seems to be giving two reasons why tefillin why Torah exempts you from tefillin. Either because Torah itself is an ice. Now, by the way, why is Torah an ice? Torah is an ice because it has Yetzias Mitzrayim in it. It mentions Yetzias Mitzrayim. That's what an ice is. Bris Milah is an ice. What does that have to do with Yetzias Mitzrayim? I mean, Shabbat, I would have thought it's an ice because it's a covenant between you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why bris is an ice. Shabbos is only an ice because Shabbos is Zeicher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. By the way, Tosfos in Moed Katan brings a deya that matzah is an ice and sukkah is an ice. So why, according to this Mishna Berura, it would be because it's Zeicher L'Yetzias Mitzrayim. Sif Yud Aleph, Lo Yachleit Tefillin B'fnei Rabbi. Do not remove your tefillin before your Rebbe. Ela Yifna L'Tzad Acher. You should turn to the other side, Mnei Eimasai, out of fear. V'yachleit Shalei B'fanim. Remove the tefillin, not in his presence. Says Mishna Berura, B'fnei Rabbi, Hainu Rabbi Muvhak. Deroiv Chachmasei Himena. That is a Rebbe Muvhak who most of your Chachma is from him. So nowadays we don't really have the concept of Rabbi Muvhak, but it is possible that we do. First of all, it's hard to, nowadays you have one Rebbe for the Aleph, a different Rebbe for the Beis, a different Rebbe for the Gimel, You have a different, used to be, the Rebbe taught the Aleph Beis, and he brought you till the Shev Shvaitza. But nowadays, every Madrega there's a different Rebbe. The Tosfos Yom Tov says the Lashon of Muvhak is like Mavhik, to shine. The Rebbe that brings out, so to speak, the shine of Torah in you, that's your Rabbi Muvhak. Or the Rebbe that gives you a derach halimud, that teaches you how to learn. So it's not necessarily the quantitative information he relayed. Okay, but anyway, someone who's a Rabbi Muvhak, who you got Roiv Chachma from, you don't take over the tefillin. Why? Be out of fear. Right? So Lamar, Dezilzul hu shemagala roish b'fanav. It's disparaging to uncover your head in front of him. The Dirshu brings an interesting question from the Aruch HaShulchan. So if it's a zilzul, so how are you allowed to take off tefillin in front of your father? The Aruch HaShulchan says in Yardeas and Reish Mem Beis that because of the closeness to the father is not makbid. Now we know that a father could be moichal and is covered, but could a father be moichal and a zilzul? I don't know that it's pasha the father can be moichal and a zilzul. Okay, Mishna Berura continues. Shemagala roisha b'fanav. So then the question is, how could you put on tefillin? So the Dirshu quotes the Tehillah LeDavid, because you're doing it l'tzarach hanachas tefillin. Okay. Accordingly, even if the Rebbe took off the tefillin first, it would be also. If you tilt to the side, and you're careful from uncovering your head before him, it appears that you could be meko in all situations. By the way, you're not supposed to take off tefillin in front of a Sefer Torah. Take a look in Siman Chafhei Sivkatan Nun Ches. There we learned that you should not take off the tefillin in front of a Sefer Torah. It's also a zilzal. The Mishna Berura says, "V'hacholtzo in koydem hakabon yizor shel yachzah shel rosh b'fnei Sefer Torah kadei shel yigala rosh b'fneha el yitzalik l'tztadin." So if you're davening nusach svard, right? They take back the Sefer Torah pretty late. Right, they have it hanging around there for Hashavua V'Tzion. You can't take off your tefillin shorosh in front of a Sefer Torah. Okay, Kain Kasav Prima Gadim. Okay. If you're taking off tefillin close to dark, you should be machmer not to take them off before the Rebbe takes them off. Dimnira shamayra halacha b'fnei rabbi she'yigiz manoi lachleitz. Okay, now this is a yisoid gadol. People like to tell rabbis halachas. It's no problem. Rabbis don't know all halachas, but it's not a good idea. One is not to be moira halacha b'fnei rabbi. Not only that, one is not to take off the tefillin before the Rebbe, as if to say, come on, Shkia is coming, let's go. The guy who's running to wash before Shkia, before his Rebbe. Can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, Rabbi said we'll hold it over here. We'll finish up Siman Lamed Ches tomorrow. Tomorrow's a short day. Tomorrow's going to be like a quasi double header. Okay, we're gonna start Siman Lamed Ches. So it won't take us more than the regular time, but we'll try to do 2 days tomorrow. Okay, have a good day, everyone. Kol tov. Be well.
What you said is not to take off film in front of a second.
Recording stopped.
Even if you say the Torah is rolled up and closed, that's also not allowed to.
That's what it seems like.
You've just experienced another Torah class brought to you by TorahAnytime.com.